right, let's do this. Okay, so to create a double half hitch, what we have to do is separate our left work from our right work. So here's my last one, here's its center, right? So I'm gonna push all this work over to this side, and I'm just gonna work on this side to create these kind of nice diagonal sort of rows. So I need a holding cord, right? And here's my holding cord, it's the last one, and I draw him across in the line that I want to create, right? So here's the line I want to create, it's this line here. So I'm gonna hold this nice and taut, and I'm gonna pick up my first cord, right, it says neighbor, and I'm gonna throw him over, and then I'm gonna pull his tail under, and then I just secure that by pulling it down, right? And so as you're pulling it down, you want to really like visualize how you want that double half hitch to look. And I want it to look nice and round, nice and vertical. I think it looks beautiful. One more time, each time we do a cord, we do it twice. Over, under, snug it up. This one is done. You can tell it's done because there are two, and the tail comes through the center of those two loops. Okay, he's done. I got to do his neighbor. Over, around, snug. Twice, over, around, snug. Next one. This is my third one, right? 1, 2, 3. Over, around, snug. Over, around, snug. I think this could make a really cute necklace too. We worked up something kind of similar to this, sort of in shape anyway, in a project we did together in summer. Over, around, snug. There's your first one. Over, around, snug. 2. Double half hitch. Let's keep going. Over, around, through. Over, around, through. Holding cord does nothing. He's just holding all those loops. Over, around, snug. Over, around, snug. One last one to do to finish off my left side. Over, around, snug. Over, around, snug. Okay, there's my left side. Now I also have to do the right side, and then we have to bring them together. Let's put this off to the side. Holding cord is the one on the far side. Draw them across. The right side does feel a little bit awkward and different, or the right side, I think, because you just figured out how to do it on this side. Now we have to, our brains have to process, how do I do this again, and going from a different direction, okay? So taking his neighbor, right, here's my holding cord, he's coming across diagonal. I go over, around, snug. It's not too painful. Nice and vertical, nice and tight. Over, around, snug. 2 for each one. Keeping them nice and straight. Over, around, snug. Over, around, snug. So I'm right-handed. My right hand is very active, right? And my left hand is just holding the holding cord. That's all he's doing. Over, around, snug. Over, around, snug. Get this nice heavy line. It's very beautiful. Over, around, snug. Over, around, snug. Each time you do it twice. Over, around, snug. Over, around, snug. Keep going. Over, around, snug. Over, around, snug. Last one. Over, around, snug. Over, around, snug. Okay. 2 great rows of double half hitch. Okay, now we need to join them together. And so in my process, you can see all of the other ones that I've done so far. So I told you mine will have 6 in its finished work. I made my right row dominant, right? So you can see that he is the one that comes forward in the end. So how do you do that? Well, you hold whatever row you want to go kind of forward as your holding chord, right? So I wanted my right one to go forward because my right one went forward. My right one went forward, right? All the way through in my design. And then you just do your double half hitch again with your last remaining one from your left side. Over, around, snug, right? So there's this first join. Over, around, snug. So this just joined your left and right side together. I think that looks very beautiful. Okay, so now we need to decide how we want to finish it off, just like we have with every other project. You could certainly, leave it nice and long. I personally really like the idea of, and this felt good, where I just kind of unwove, took apart the 3 strands, right, and it became this really pretty wavy thing. But you certainly, like in our coaster project, could untangle them and then comb it out so it gets really full and kind of fringy if you like that idea. But once again, we always first have to trim. We always err on the side of making it too long because we're going to trim it again anyway. So I'm using my ruler or my comb as a measuring tool, and so that looks good. Just a little too long, and I like to cut it on an angle. You don't have to cut it on an angle, you could have it straight. Okay, and then it angles up, kind of mimicking the angle of our double half hitch row. Okay. Feels like a lot easier to do when you have it still attached to something. In our coaster project it felt a little tricky because we had removed it from our hanger, and so it was kind of this free floating. Okay, perfect. Now, to get this fun sort of energetic tassel, we have to untangle our 3-ply 3mm cotton cord. Right. And this takes time, right? There are a couple things in macrame that are my least favorite. I love making the knots. Trimming, one of my least favorite things. And also kind of this finishing work of untangling all these to make your ends look really beautiful. So you're going to continue untangling all of your tassels or tails in order to create harmony and balance between all of these beautiful pennants that you've created. Okay. So you get the idea of that, right? And if I wanted to comb it out, I start at the bottom, right? Just like when your kids have knots in their hair. You start at the bottom, and then you gradually work your way up. But my sort of concept was just kind of untangling them to give them more of kind of a calm, sort of loose kind of vibe. I'm going to lift up this masking tape here because I want to show you about adding on those beads. Any pieces you want to keep, maybe you can use those for something. Maybe, someone who can use them for something if you can't. Always trying to be resourceful with any kind of extra materials we have. I started my project with a wooden bead, and so I want to end it with a wooden bead here. So all I have to do is take my end and I feed my bead through. Oh, how perfect is that? So when I created a knot, the knot was big enough to fit my bead on, but also to kind of keep my work on. So that bead's not going to come off, but yet I have enough of a tail to tie my beautiful banner onto whatever space needed a little beauty. So here is my beautiful pennant banner. All right, guys. Thank you so much for your support and for signing on to these macrame videos. I've loved our time together. Please reach out if you have any issues or problems and you need help with any step along the way. I can't wait to see what you create. See you later.